suggesting that 50 had assisted law authorities and was shaken for his own safety during that time period. The term snitch is a career killer and a legacy destroyer in the hood, hip-hop, or any other community where street cred is valued. King wasn't being subtle either. He was yelling it from the digital rooftops, posting video snippets and purported documents, and constructing an entire prosecution on Instagram like a district attorney in front of a grand jury. However, the most catastrophic action was yet to come. King posted purported 50 Cent is shown carrying sexual pleasure items in private images, with a clever allusion to the 1950s classic record, Magic Stick, in the title. The purpose of the performance was to completely degrade one of the most difficult characters in rap history and turn him into a meme that would for years follow him through each comment section. The authenticity of those pictures was essentially irrelevant. The second King hit post, which exposed that content to millions of people who had spent 2 decades considering 50 Cent to be impenetrable. In actuality, there were no longer boundaries to respect once 50 went too far by attacking Tiny. When he unlocked Pandora's box, King ran through the door with everything. He had access to it. According to one reactor, the true question was not whether King went too far, but rather why anyone thought he would refrain in the first place. The truths that the reactor was spewing reverberated everywhere of the web. This was no longer about rap. This has nothing to do with catalogs, versus, moving more units, or having a larger bag. This was all about family. Furthermore, King was not adhering to internet troll etiquette or hip-hop beef standards. He was acting in accordance with the principles of a young man from Atlanta's South Side who saw someone abuse his mother on a worldwide platform and concluded that there was not even a proportionate response during the discussion. Even King's most ardent fans found it difficult to defend him when he went totally nuclear. He obtained what he claimed to be a childhood picture of on February 25, 2026. 50 Cent uploaded a photo of a little child holding a painting to his Instagram story. The captions were calculated and icy. How much for this picture of 50 Cent, followed by Lil N66A. You are a fantastic artist, and you look exactly like Mrs. Jackson. How much should I buy? 50 cents. I'll give you top bucks. D isn't done yet. Then he asked, this is your mama or pops of 50 Cent A. Twisting the knife one last time. Frontal attack on Sabrina Jackson, 50's mother, who was killed when he was only 8 years old, and whose passing influenced every aspect of his life ever since. The most agonizing period of 50 Cent's life was the target of that childhood snapshot existence. In his book, From Pieces to Weight, as well as in his music and interviews, 50 has candidly discussed the death of Sabrina Jackson in 1983. Everything he created is based on that trauma. He built a wall, yet he still has every trust issue. King was exploring the deepest wound a person can have and tearing it up on a public stage in front of the entire world by bringing up her name, her face, and the manner in which she was taken from him. Athletics. King's follow-up, Diss Single, Sis, was even more brutal than Made Man. According to his followers, King wore a t-shirt with Sabrina Jackson's face printed on the front for the rollout, the identical image that he had previously shared on Instagram. The image was unavoidable, loud, and disrespectful. He was no longer merely rapping about 50's mother. Her face was on him like a jersey, like a statement piece, like a proclamation that no one or anything was holy during this conflict. King's initial outburst, which sparked the entire conflagration, was captured on tape, and there was no space for misunderstanding. King had just warmed up. Anyone watching could tell that this was neither a performance nor a clout play because of the unadulterated rage in his voice, on a level that most people never encounter. This was intimate. Do you have anything to say about my mother? Go dig her up. Your mother is dead. Go find her. Then he increased the pressure even further, ensuring that everyone in the audience knew precisely where the cue had been sketched. Share a photo of your mother. She's dead. Be respectful. Give up teasing my mother. Going like that, playing like that. King then lowered the bar, which made headlines on all blogs. The Every Reaction video has a soundbite, and every platform has a trending clip. How were you all raised? That's not how I was raised. I don't go. I'm not referring to my mother. I refuse to go. He wasn't finished. Following that, King called his own mother a legend, told 50 to go place flowers on his mother's grave rather than sharing images of other people's mothers, and made it apparent that Sabrina Jackson's 50 could not employ memory as a defense. He went on to state that the Harris family operated on a very different level and played a completely different ballgame, making it clear to everyone that they were not to be compared to anyone 50 had ever been at odds with. This was happening in real time on the internet, and the response was wild. 50 Cent, for what may actually be the first time in his illustrious internet management career, began removing posts. Without a word, the altered picture of Tiny disappeared from his page, one post at a time. Other provocative stuff that had been fueling the beef was discreetly removed. Then there was an answer that no one could have predicted from the man who had been the most resilient troll in hip-hop history for more than 20 years. 50 shared a philosophical quotation: "To amuse is to arouse feelings. It doesn't matter if you love or loathe me, just be concerned enough to feel something." Then came what many saw as an obvious white flag: "I'm leaving. I'm hurt by you guys." Overnight, the most talked about topic on the internet was whether 50 was being sarcastic, playing possum, or actually lowering his guard for a moment. On the ground, however, the facts were indisputable. A 21-year-old was receiving support from 50 Cent, the same man who bodied Ja Rule's whole career without exerting any effort, mocked Floyd Mayweather for 5 years without flinching, and abandoned his own eldest kid on Instagram without displaying any remorse. The posts had vanished. King Harris was far from finished, and the energy had entirely changed. "Curtis, are you going to start me over?" Just F. King retaliated very away, making it quite evident that 50's attempt to go quietly would not be respected. In the meantime, T continued to put pressure on the music, releasing a total of 4 diss tracks, with a song purportedly titled "I'm Sorry." M. Jackson, Damani, T's other son, entered the mix and turned the Outcast into a barb at Sabrina Jackson's memory. The Harris family as a whole was relocating in unison. 50 Cent was receiving criticism from both sides at the same time, and no one in his corner was publicly standing up to offer him support. Everyone had to sit with the painful reality that was just hanging in the air. 50 was aware of how this game operated. He was raised in Queens, South Jamaica. He emerged from the trenches. Almost no one alive knew the rules as well as he did. And the truth was straightforward: you have to be prepared for someone to retaliate against you if you start disparaging someone else's mother. That isn't a theory. The code is that. And before he ever posted that photo of Tiny, 50 of all people ought to have understood that. When 50 went after Tiny, he delivered the first personal shot. When King went for Sabrina, he hurled the final one. In the interim between those two moments, the internet as a whole came to the conclusion that it had just witnessed the closest thing to 50C collapsing under duress that anyone had seen in more than 20 years of observing this man engage in the most intense online warfare. Nobody anticipated the move or the aftermath. Everyone was completely unprepared for what happened next. From the ardent 50 Cent writers to the supporters of the Harris family to those who were simply eating popcorn and watching the whole situation play out, the same young man who had spent days dragging 50 Cent's mother through the dirt on Instagram for everyone to see, who rocked Sabrina Jackson's face on a t-shirt like it was a victory trophy, who released 2 diss tunes and tweeted content created especially to discredit a man 30 years his senior in front of millions of followers, did something that nobody on either side of the conflict anticipated. He slid into 50-year-old Maris Jackson's direct messages, since made what appeared to be a sincere effort to reconcile with his estranged eldest son. On February 27, 2026, a screenshot of that direct message appeared on Instagram via the Traps and Trunks profile. Within the message, King acknowledged that Maris had nothing to do with the conflict between their families and that his remarks had been driven only by passion. He noted that what he said was emotional and didn't need to be expressed, and he recommended that they cut it up, man-to-man, away from the millions of eyes following their every step, the blogs, the comment sections, and the cameras. The audience was completely divided by the question posed in the post's caption to the followers: should these two be connected? Should Marquise keep out of his father's affairs entirely, or should he put an end to the drama? With far over 1,000 responses, the comment area went completely insane, and the gap was as big as the Grand Canyon. Some individuals called it a mature thing to do and a sign that the young bull realized he had gone too far, demonstrating King's affection for the maturity. Others were not feeling it at all, pointing out the obvious and cautioning mayors not to fall for what they blatantly dubbed King's bait. Paradox of someone who was just disparaging a deceased grandmother now attempting to show compassion. One particularly poignant remark made clear that Maris's problems with his father do not imply that he did not love his grandma, and that King's disrespect for Sabrina Jackson was not something that a courteous direct message could erase. However, The move was elite from a strategic standpoint, regardless of King's level of understanding.